Hey, this is Drei, and welcome to the Coffee Breakers Club podcast. This is episode 46 of this podcast, and thank you for joining me. Today, let's talk about comics. So, comics, no? Bali, ito yung mga source material ng mga sobrang sikat na superhero movies for the past, 10 years, diba? Or even more than that, pero sobrang pumatok nung from Iron Man 1 and then the list goes on and on. And very good films, diba? If I say so myself, and very profitable talaga yung mga movies na to. Sobrang hype, diba? And most often than not, it delivers naman. But going back to the comics talaga is this is a different world in on itself na sobrang dami, sobrang complex and at di ka talaga mauubusan, no, ng babasahin. Kumbaga mas rich yung storyline, mas flesh out yung characters and whatnot. So it's the same feeling kapag nanonood ka ng pelikula na adaptation ng galing sa books, Harry Potter, kanyan, diba? Hunger Games, na sometimes sasabihin ng mga book readers na it's good, pero it's much better sa books, diba? So it can be said na parehas, diba, sa mga superhero movies na to, na if you're going to read the source material, is mas ma-appreciate mo and mas makikita mo kung bakit ganun yung takbo ng storya, mas malalim, kumbaga. So, if you have time, I suggest that you pick up a comic book and just try to read it. Baka magustuhan nyo. As for me, I can't say na super avid comic book reader ako. Yung parang sakto lang, no? I'm above average naman. I have read enough for me to be considered na comic book reader, I guess. And it all started back in the 90s, di ba? na mayroong inuwing mga comic books. Di ko alam kung hiniram niya or binili niya. I think hiniram niya ng kuya ko from his, I guess, high school or college friends. And yung mga comic books na to is yung Spawn, Spider-Man, na I think both are from Todd McFarlane. Parehas, so halos similar yung art style. And then may mga X-Men din. So bale, kapag wala siya or nasa school siya or something, binabasa ko yung mga comics na to. I don't remember kung nagpapaalam ako. Parang hindi. Parang patakas ko lang silang binabasa. And by the way, this is the same brother na nag-uuwi ng mga cassette tapes ng E-Heads, Parokya, and other bands pa, no? So tapos ginagamit ko yung mga cassette tapes din niya, mga Linkin Park, ganun. So yes, I'm that little brother na kinukuha or ginagamit yung mga bagay-bagay nyo. Even his clothes nga, nung naging kabuilt ko na siya, sinusuot ko rin yung mga damit niya ng pasikreto. And ayun nga, yun yung first experience ko sa mga comic books. And yung naging favorite ko dito is Spider-Man, kasi very light lang yung storytelling, tapos sobrang nakakatawa pa ni Spider-Man, yung napaka-witty niya. So I really appreciated that. Sa Spawn naman, ang ganda ng art, sobra. Kaya lang, sobrang bata ko pa nung binasa ko siya. So nung nakita ko yung mga kalaban niya, mga villains niya, sobrang grotesque, sobrang morbid, gano'n. Medyo nakakatakot ng konti sa mata ng, 8-year-old kid, gano'n. So I appreciated it, yung lalo na yung art style. Is hindi ko masyado nagustuhan yung storytelling. So doon ako sa Spider-Man nun, mas naengganyo. And then for the longest time, syempre, buying or borrowing comic books is not sustainable per se. So, na-stop yung mga comic books na yon sa bahay. Parang hindi na nadagdagan, 'di ba? So, yung next comic book experience ko is actually mga soft copy na from the internet, no? Mga CBR files na tinatawag na I won't disclose kung paano ko sila nakuha pero there is a source back then na i-download mo lang yung mga gusto mong mga titles. So both DC and Marvel, even Vertigo, no? Tsaka Dark Horse, andun lahat halos. Even mga titles na hindi masyadong mainstream or hindi galing Marvel and DC is andun din. So, a wide selection of comics. Pero syempre, nag-stick ako dun sa mga medyo mainstream. Lalong-lalo na sa Marvel. Ang mga binabasa ko sa Marvel is exclusively sa mga tinatawag nilang crossover events. So, crossover events, ito lang yung mga series na different superheroes will be teaming up, no? From different titles. So, it's kinda different from, say, the Avengers title lang na automatic na team up na sila kaagad. This one, it builds up and hindi lang mga Avengers or X-Men na team, both are separate teams yung magkakasama-sama. So, there is a chance na lilitaw yung isang superhero outside of the team. So, which is very exciting. Kasi nga, kapag sa mga comic book, say, Spider-Man comic book yan. Sa Spider-Man lang yung main na character doon. You won't expect na, say, Daredevil coming in to team up. Ganon, sobrang dalang. Parang, kung Spider-Man, kung Daredevil. Parang ganun yung focus ng story. While for the crossover events, which is yung pattern, parang annual, merong ganitong event na merong isang storyline na magkakasama-sama sila. Hindi naman lahat, pero a good chunk of those characters magkakasama-sama. So, sample yung House of M, no? This one is both Avengers and X-Men characters gathered and others pa. Civil War, which is merong movie adaptation na yung third movie ng Captain America trilogy, though very different. Sobrang iba ng story ng Civil War sa comics. Next is yung Siege. Yung story nito, it revolves around Thor, no? And Asgard, let's say. Tapos meron din dito Avengers vs X-Men. Ito all-out brawl ito ng X-Men tsaka Avengers. And the story revolves around the Phoenix Force. Parang ganon. Trying to stop or use the Phoenix Force. Ganon siya. Fear itself, again, this one is for Thor Infinity Gauntlet, which is parang ito yung inspiration ng Infinity War ng MCU movie, no? Secret Wars, ito parang 80s ata nagawa tong Secret Wars na to, na sobrang yung art sobrang outdated for my taste, pero the story is cool, no? Ang idea nito is someone took Marvel heroes and the Marvel villains, tapos nilagay niya sa isang planet, tapos magkakalaban-laban sila. So, another team up. Next is Axis, which is very interesting kasi sa story na to, yung mga Marvel heroes is naging antagonist and then yung mga villain is sila yung naging mga protagonist, para nagkabaliktad. Hence, Axis. So, very interesting ito. It's a good read. And then, yung classic na Age of Apocalypse na X-Men Focus, Days of Future Past, and Dark Phoenix. So, yun yung mga Marvel events na nabasa ko. Out of all these events, I think, pinaka nagustuhan ko yung House of M. Kasi sa House of M, sobrang ganda ng art tsaka ng storytelling. Parang good combo siya, good balance. And then the story revolves around the Scarlet Witch. completely changing the reality. Na ang ginawa niya, minodel niya sa ideas niya yung mundo. Parang everybody happy, ganun. So in doing that, yung mga personal wishes ng mga Marvel characters is natupad. Parang siyang genie, di ba? Pero ganun yung nangyari. So sample, yung lahat ng mutants, sila na yung first class na citizens, ganun. Versus dun sa true reality na discriminated sila and hated, di ba? Si Spider-Man, celebrity siya dito, ganun. Si Captain America, tumanda siya, so meaning hindi siya na trap sa ice, ganun. So different things na sobrang interesting kasi each character na may introduce is there is something different about them, and most of the times opposite nung kung paano mo siya nakilala. So sobrang interesting. And then ayun, as I've said, nag-focus ako sa mga Marvel crossover events na to versus dun sa mga individual titles. I have read a few solo titles naman, like Spider-Man nga, which is my favorite, Wolverine, and others pa. Pero most of the times I stop, so hindi ko tinutuloy to find something bigger like Marvel events nga. Which is the opposite naman para sa DC. Sa DC, mas binabasa ko yung mga solo titles versus dun sa mga events kasi mas interesting yung mga stories dun sa mga solo titles kaysa sa mga events na. Even Justice League, very seldom ko siyang basahin kasi mas trip ko talagang basahin yung mga solo nila. Like kapag Batman, ganon, Flash, sobrang interesting na mga storylines, especially for Batman. Sobrang iba talaga ng storytelling ng DC sa mga solo titles. So kung ikukumpara talaga, which is kinda weird na sa mga movies ng DC, sobrang pumalya sila sa takilya, 'di ba? Hindi masyadong kumita or pumatok sa mga fans, which is again weird kasi yung source material nila sobrang rich, kumbaga. And just sticking to the source material would do them wonders, kumbaga. But going back, some of my favorites na stories sa DC is sample yung Watchmen, which is I think nag-start ito sa Vertigo ba? Dark Horse? Basta naging DC siya kasi binili ng DC yung original publisher ng Watchmen, so it's considered a DC Comics now. But yeah, Watchmen. So Watchmen, meron na movie adaptation nito, which is I think directed by Zack Snyder, kung di ako nagkakamali. But yeah, it's a really good movie, but a very great comic book or comic novel, no? I think it's actually considered as one of the best comic books of all time, no? So just to show kung gaano kaganda yung Watchmen in comic book form, no? Next one is yung Sandman. Sandman. This is authored by Neil Gaiman, which is one of my favorite book authors din, no? So yes, gumawa din siya ng comic book, pero di siya yung nag-drawing, sa kanya lang yung storya. Pero yeah, Sandman, no? I think up until this point, wala pang movie adaptation neto. And sobrang hirap kasi niyang i-adapt kasi sobrang complex ng story. And it's not possible to do it justice kung gagawin lang siyang 3-part, 2-hour movies, kanon, in 6 hours. Parang hindi pa rin makakapture lahat. So I think for this one, mas maganda siyang series, no? With a budget na similar dapat sa say Game of Thrones, ganun siya kabongga dapat. Yung next na nagustuhan ko na medyo mainstream na, no? Yung unang dalawa hindi masyadong mainstream yun eh. Yung Dark Knight Returns, ito yung story na to is matandang Batman, parang going out of retirement si Batman dito, which is very badass. Parang Old Man Logan pero much better. Next is yung Flashpoint. Ito naman kay Flash itong story na to. And it's a mini crossover event siguro, pero si Flash yung bida dito. And then another Batman is yung The Last Joke. Though I say Batman, pero si Joker talaga yung focus ng story na to. And recently merong animated movie na adaptation ng comic book na to, no? Pero mas gusto ko pa rin siya sa comic book form. So yun yung way ko nun ng pagbasa ng comics is through that source nga na ida-download. But soon I discovered this site na you can read comics online, and parang sa site na to as in kompleto, and it continuously updates weekly, no? So sobrang dami din dito, and I think mas kompleto. So from this online site, meron time na na-addict din akong magbasa dito, na parang ito yung super pastime ko. And from this one, I've actually read stuff na yun nga, na sobrang outside na nung mainstream, na minsan itatanong mo sa sarili mo kung comic books pa ba yung binabasa mo or something different na. So say, binasa ko dito is Why the Last Man, no? So Why the Last Man is a story about a guy being the only man in the world, and then namatay lahat ng lalaki para sa kanya, parang ganon. And it has a similar feel with, say kung nakakita ka na ng The Walking Dead na comics, parang ganon, pero mas luma ito, pero mas mature yung story, no? Dito ko rin nakita or na-discover yung Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is very different, no? Na para siyang mix ng manga tsaka comics para sa akin, and sobrang interesting ng art, ng paneling, ng lahat actually. Tapos super comedy rich din, and it spoke to me in a spiritual level. Hindi, joke lang, pero kasi siya, parang sobrang fit sa akin nung comic book na to, o kung paano nagpi-play out yung story, na parang comedy lang. So sobrang saya ng comic book na to. And yes, meron na rin itong movie adaptation, which is not far from the source material. I mean, they couldn't have done it better, no, para sa akin. So it's good. And then syempre, binabasa ko din dito yung mga medyo mainstream din, like again, Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, gano'n. And then Nightwing. For Nightwing, kung sa mga hindi nakakakilala, Nightwing is the first Robin ni Batman. Tapos nung nag-retire siya, naging siyang Nightwing. And actually, Nightwing is my favorite superhero alongside with Spider-Man siguro. Pero mas nangunguna pa rin si Nightwing. Kasi si Nightwing, like Batman, wala siyang superpower. So, tao lang siya, diba? Pero he gets the job done. And yung personality niya, parang Spider-Man din, na nakakatawa. Parang very witty. Tapos sobrang sobrang playboy. Sobrang habulin ng chicks, kaya Nightwing. And I would recommend you picking up a Nightwing comic book, kasi I think sooner than later magkakaroon siya ng movie. So it's good for you to know who he is before pa siya magka-movie, diba? Para meron kang yabang moment na sabihin, itong Nightwing, si Dick Grayson, yung unang Robin. Chu, diba? Para mainis yung mga tropa mo sa'yo. So, for recommendations, aside from Nightwing, I would recommend you picking up, say, Watchmen, Sandman, tsaka siguro Scott Pilgrim. Kasi, I know, medyo familiar naman na kayo dun sa mga medyo mas mainstream, diba? So, for something different, pick those 3 titles up, no? And ang kinagandahan kasi nila, unlike most solo titles, no? Meron silang ending, yung tatlong to. So, hindi kayo mabibitin, kumbaga. So, with that, let's go to our 3-in-1 questions. 1, ano yung favorite comic book title mo or event kung meron. Number 2, favorite superhero of all time. And number 3, favorite comic book superhero movie adaptation mo. Ayun, siya na nga. The coffee break is over. Catch you in the next one. Cheers! Hey, this is Drei, and welcome to the Coffee Breakers Club podcast. This is episode 47 of this podcast, and thank you for joining me. Today, let's talk about memes. So, hindi na to bago sa atin ngayon, lalo na ngayon, diba? These things have been with us from the very early days of the internet boom dito sa Pilipinas, diba? So let's say early 2000 at the earliest, no? And up to a point now na this is just the normal, kumbaga. And just to provide a definition, no, of this so-called memes. Ayun pala ang proper pronunciation nito according to the mass majority, no, is memes. So, hindi siya meme or mimi, di ba? Which is, parang nung una, nung hindi pa masyadong kalat, no? Nung early 2000s nga. Or nung unang nauso to, yung basa nito ng karamihan is meme. Parang lang to parang yung sa GIF, di ba? Yung pronunciation ng iba is GIF, yung iba naman GIF, diba? So, after a long time, nagkaroon na ng kasunduan na memes na lang yung proper pronunciation nito. And, yun nga, the definition is any element of a culture or system of behavior that may be considered to be passed from one individual to another by non-organic means, especially imitation. It can be a humorous image, video, piece of text, etc. that is copied, often with slight variations, and spread rapidly by internet users. So, kinuha ko nung definition na to kasi ito yung nakita kong pinakamaikli pero it summarizes or defines it perfectly kung ano yung mga memes. Kasi most often than not, we associate memes, no, with images kaagad na parang yun yung alam nating memes. And if you are an old school internet user such as myself, kapag sinabing memes, kaagad napapasok sa isip ko is Rage Comics. Kasi yun yung mga naunang memes, no, na talagang kumalat. But it goes beyond that, diba? Which is parang, if you're really going to think about it, no, is tama. Kasi nga, memes are any culture or system of behavior, no, na ini-spread through the internet, okay? Especially through imitation nga, sabi nga sa definition kanina. So, if you create something, so let's just say for an image meme, no? So, someone would create it first, no, for some reason, and then once he or she posted it in the internet and people find it, say, good, funny, humorous, they'll start copying it and using it and putting their own spin to it. And then, i-share din nila. And the cycle goes on. It will build up to there until maging viral yung first image na yun na ngayon. Super evolved na siya into a proper meme. And with that, yung mga memes na to kalat na everywhere, especially in this social media space, no? In social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, at iba pa. But back then, yung main source of memes dati is sa 4chan nagsimula, no? 4chan. For 4chan, nagamit ko lang siya for a few years, say a good couple of years. But I didn't get hooked on it. But it can be, say, similar, no? medyo pareha siyang konti sa Reddit, which is mas naengganyo akong gamitin, and there's a lot of memes din doon na nagsisimula. So, but 4chan is still the originator of most of the well-known and old school memes, no, 4chan. And aside from Reddit nun, go-to ko din yung Can I Has Cheeseburger na site, no? Alongside with yung mga classic din na parang fail vlogs, epic, mga ganon. Laugh or Die, mga ganon. So, there's a lot of sites nun for this phenomena to start and spread. And nung college, doon nagsimula din, no? Yung 9gag, which is most of us are familiar with now. Kasi, ang kinagandahan ng 9gag is andun na lahat. Yung parang you don't need to click on many, say, threads to find those memes. Parang it is formatted na memes lahat kaagad. Parang ganun siya. Parang it's a collection of memes na kaagad, which is kind of similar with Reddit, right? Pero sobrang dami kasi, no? Sa 9gag and tuloy-tuloy. Parang ganun. Sobrang dami ding spam. Ganun. Pero, you know. And, syempre, hindi natin malilimutan yung YouTube. Parang, ang dami ring nabuong memes dahil sa YouTube, no? Na different style or different genre of memes. And so sobrang addict ko nga sa mga memes nun, sobrang fan ako ng mga memes nun is I actually created a DIY t-shirt, no? Na yung design niya, yung heck yeah na Rage Comics. So, yun kasi yung favorite kong Rage Comic character together with the challenge accepted Rage Comic character. Pero yung heck yeah yung pinaka-favorite ko kasi napaka-boss ng itsura niya. So, what I did is to buy a good quality white t-shirt, yung plain lang. And then, I printed the Rage Comic character nga sa isang computer shop. Yung pinakamalaking papel na kaya nila. Tapos, sinagad ko talaga siya para medyo malaki siya. And then, I traced it. Nilagay ko siya sa ilalim ng t-shirt and then I traced it using a pencil. Tapos gamit yung paint na binili ko sa National Bookstore na pang t-shirt, no? Pang t-shirt making is tinrawing ko siya by hand. Pero syempre tinrace ko kasi for it to work, no? Kailangan kuhang-kuha mo siya, no? Though yes, parang lang siya, parang stick figure lang siya, pero kailangan mo makuha every detail, lalo na yung proportions para alam na siya yon, parang gano'n. Then yeah, it turned out well and I wore it during college. So, if you have lived as long as me, parang nakita mo yung boom talaga ng mga memes na to during their infancy until ngayon na sobrang varied na or sobrang dami na ng mga memes na to, which is cool kasi in any subculture or culture sa internet meron specific memes na nagre-represent sa kanila, parang ganun. In any situation, in any type of humor that you have, merong meme para sa'yo, parang ganun. It makes communication, no, easier sometimes, no? And yung di matatawarang entertainment, no? Yung aliw na binibigay ng mga memes na to sa atin. So with that, gusto ko lang parang bigyan ng highlight yung mga old school or very influential memes for every category, you know? Parang lang to, Meme Hall of Fame, parang ganon, presented by me. Pero yeah, so as I've said, there's a lot of categories and hindi lang images and hindi lang videos yung mga memes, diba? So there's still a lot more. So with that, I'll try to cover as much as I can with this episode and then we'll go from there. So una is yung mga images or comics category. yung mga sikat dito is unang-una yung pinaka old school na demotivation, no? Yung mga demotivation posters is ito yung mga yung merong scenery, ganyan, na picture, and then sa baba merong parang demotivation quote or idea or text sa baba na nakakatawa, na minsan ironic, ganyan. Sa ngayon medyo wala nang gumagawa ng mga demotivation posters, pero back then isa to sa mga pinakasikat talaga na I actually did several, no? And posted them in the internet. So yeah. The second one is the Rich Comics nga, no? Yung mga troll face, me gusta, diba? At kung ano-ano pa. Sabi ko, ito yung paborito ko ng memes dati. Na kapag sinabing memes, ito kagad yung pumapasok sa isip ko. And it lost its, tawag dito, popularity now. Pero meron pa rin paminsan-minsang sumusulpot, which is nice. But yeah, yung Rich Comics. And then the last one na gusto kong bigyan ng highlight for this category is yung mga advice animals na tinatawag, no? And tawag dito advice animals, pero hindi lang mga animals yung mga yung mga ginagamit na images, no? So dito yung yung mga, so ito yung merong image ng animal, or sabi ko kahit hindi animal, pwedeng tao yan. Tapos meron silang background na may kulay ng mga solid colors, and then merong specific na use para sa kanila. So halimbawa dito yung sad na bear, 'di ba? Yung penguin, yung palaka, 'di ba? Tapos kasama din dito sa mga advice animals yung epic queen na baby, si good guy Greg, si scumbag Steve, ganyan. At kung sino-sino pa. All of those are considered or under the umbrella ng advice animals. Si Bad Luck Brian, ganyan, diba? So, yun yung mga yan. So, again, very old school. Second category is videos. And then for this one, ito yung medyo, weird na category kasi there's a lot of other category na medyo nagko-coincide sa videos kasi nasa video format din sila. Pero I guess pwede nating i-treat ito kung paano ginamit yung mga video, no? So una na dito yung rickroll, no? Yung rickrolling. Basic idea is you put this music video, no, at the end of anything that you want to put it, or a link of it, no? Just to troll kung sino yung gusto mong i-troll. And then yeah, it's called rickrolling. And yung kanta dito, yung Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, diba? I don't know kung na-experience nyo to, kung na-rickroll ba kayo, but this is very early of the meme culture nun, na early 2000s talaga to, no? Or at least late siguro, mga 2007 to 2009, ganun. And then yung Harlem Shake, no? Harlem Shake na sobrang nauso, sobrang nag-viral itong Harlem Shake na to. It started by a YouTuber named Filthy Frank, no? Which is, I am a big fan of that eh. And yeah, the basic premise is, after a bass drop, sumayaw ka lang ng parang baliw. Parang nababaliw, parang gano'n na. Sobrang nauso na even Hollywood stars or professional athletes ginawa or ginagawa. And walang pinipili. Talagang halos lahat ginawa tong Harlem Shake na to. From high school students to politicians and anyone in between, ginawa tong Harlem Shake na to. Next category is music. So, yung una ditong nilagay ko is Gangnam Style by Psy. Again, this is very, very popular back then. Na I think nag-break out si Psy sa US dahil sa kantang to, and dahil doon sa kasikatan niya due to its viral status, naging meme siya. Yun yun yung para sa mga memes na anything that goes viral will inevitably be a meme. So, sobrang creative ng mga tao. They'll find spin to it na maging meme siya. So yeah, Gangnam Style. And the second one is Baby Shark. Baby Shark is just an innocent toddler song, no? Para sa mga baby. Pero again, similar with Gangnam Style, dahil sobrang sikat siya, naging meme siya na hindi na lang siya pang baby. And again, there's a lot of comics, mga ganyan, funny images depicting yung Baby Shark. So, it became a meme. Next category is challenges. So, ito yung hindi rin nare-realize ng karamihan din na even challenges are considered memes as long as nga that it became popular due to it being passed around by internet users. Ayun na, magiging meme na siya. So, the first one of these challenges is yung planking. Na sobrang nauso nito nung college ako na the idea of planking is you'll act like a plank, no? Parang hihiga ka straight yung katawan mo and then hihiga kang kahit saan. And then pipicturean or videohan ka and then yun na, the planking challenge. So yung popularity nito halos kasabay ng Harlem Shake. Alam ko na una yung planking Pero yeah, there's a lot of news then sa mainstream news na nabalita tong planking na to. And then another challenge is yung tinatawag na cinnamon challenge. Ito lang naman is kakain o susubo ka ng isang kutsarang cinnamon, which is very hard kasi cinnamon is a bark. Para siyang kahoy kapag hindi pa siya pulbos. So, imagine that susubo ka ng parang kahoy lang or dust ng kahoy. So, hindi yun natutunaw sa bibig. So, sobrang hirap. Tapos, medyo spicy pa siya kasi nga, it's a spice, diba? So, ang hirap niyang lunukin talaga na it became a meme kasi ang hirap niyang gawin. Parang gano'n. So, cinnamon challenge. Both of these challenges are actually very old, no? And there's a lot more now na mas sikat, pero ito yung mga gusto kong i-highlight for this episode. So, sa gaming naman, another category is sobrang sikat din dito yung dati, yung Leroy Jenkins. So, ito, ang premise nito is merong party sa World of Warcraft and then meron silang susugurin na dungeon ata. And then habang nagmi-meeting sila, kung ano yung strategy, yung isang ka-party nila, sumugod na lang bigla pumasok siya sa dungeon habang sinisigaw yung Leroy Jenkins. Na I think yun yung pangalan ng character niya or at least nung avatar niya. But yeah, it was funny because they are supposed to be strategizing and bigla na siya sumugod while shouting his name. So walang choice tuloy yung mga kasama niya kundi siya sundin. And then namatay silang lahat, obviously. Pero dahil doon, sobrang sumikat nito na ng Leroy Jenkins na to na kung susugod ka mindlessly, isisigaw mo to kung bakit ito yung battle cry mo sa kahit anong laro. And then next meme for gaming is yung the cake is a lie. Di ko matandaan kung saan game to. I think Portal ata. Kung di ko nagkakamali, Portal ito nang galing. And then there's a bit there na merong cake. Pero sinasabi na meron nagsulat sa wall ata na the cake is a lie. Parang ganun. Sobrang random, sobrang funny na naging meme siya na the cake is a lie. And then next category is behavior/culture, no? So dito medyo din to, vast yung category na to, pero ang nilagay ko dito is yung Throwback Thursday, no? So it's a behavior due to a meme. Netflix and chill, which is a behavior, and then storming the Area 51, no? Which is another cultural behavior, no? So the last two are very recent, and then yung nauna kong nabanggit na Throwback Thursday is very old pero hanggang ngayon ginagawa. And then, the last category I have is actually miscellaneous or websites, no? Unang-una na dito yung fail blogs. Parang, nag-start ata yung fail blogs dati na parang ano lang siya, America's Most Funny Videos, parang ganun, but it's a collection of people failing that are captured in film, no? Or in video. Tapos, ayun. Pero, dahil sa site na to, ang daming nabuong mga memes din. And then, pangalawa, yung chucknorrisfacts.com. Ito lang is yung mga funny or satire facts about Chuck Norris, which is a action star sa Hollywood, no? Na giving him ridiculous superhuman facts, no? So, sample, kapag daw nagpo-push up si Chuck Norris, hindi niya inaangat yung sarili niya. Actually, tinutulak niya pababa yung buong mundo. Ganun siya kalakas, parang ganun. Tapos, isa ko pang paboritong Chuck Norris fact is, si Chuck Norris lang yung nakapagbilang hanggang infinity twice. Diba? Sobrang ridiculous. Pero yeah, chucknorrisfacts.com. I think until now, buhay pa yung site na to. So, kung gusto nyo ng aliw, no? At least for a couple of hours, highly suggested yung Chuck Norris Facts. And that's the end of the Hall of Fame chucho ko. Yung pag-highlight ng mga medyo sikat na mga memes category and a few well-known memes under those categories. And to close this out, I would just like to say na because of the memes, going to the internet, no, or using the internet had become very fun, no? Kasi yung idea ng internet back then, or at least yung intended purpose niya is for, una, communications, and pangalawa, parang information sharing, no? Yun yung pinaka-main and proper use, I think, of internet. But, kung ganun lang siya, napaka-boring. Diba? So, because of the creativity, no, and the wit ng mga tao is nanganak ito. Nagkaroon ng subculture sa internet na ito nga, mga memes na because of this, internet is a fun place now na you can spend your whole day just looking at these things. Not healthy, but you can, diba? So with that, let's go to our 3-in-1 questions. Una, what is your favorite old school meme na image or comic? Pangalawa, ano yung recent format na meme na nagustuhan mo? Ako yung kay Drake. Gusto ko yung format na yan. Number 3, gumagawa ka din ba ng memes? Share mo naman. Ayun, siya nawa. The coffee break is over. Catch you in the next one. Cheers. Hey, this is Drei, and welcome to the Coffee Breakers Club podcast. This is episode 48 of this podcast, and thank you for joining me. Today, let's talk about Japan. So this is more of a continuation or a part 2 of my travel episode, no? As I've mentioned there, Japan is the top country that I wanted to visit, at least in Asia. And from my other episodes then, when I talked about anime, diba? Yung mga Sentai series, manga as well, I am very much is a fan of those art forms, let's say, and as well as my favorite cuisine. If we're just going to talk about internationally, is actually Japanese cuisine then. So combining all of those, yun yung naging reason kung bakit gusto kong ma-visit yung country mismo, diba? And with me going there, no, it took a bit of a preparation, let's say, more than the other countries that I've also visited initially, no? So say, So, say Hong Kong, ganyan yung mga ganong bansa is we don't need any visa for us to go there. So, it's easier to do so. As well as they are relatively cheaper, no? In terms sa airfare, sa mismong living conditions, di ba? Pagkain, rent, transportation cost, and all of that is mas mahal ng di hamak yung Japan, no? So, needless to say, meron talagang konting preparation para makapunta sa Japan. Say, it being expensive, kinailangan kong mag-ipon para sa kanya. Not just the actual money that I'll be spending on the trip itself, but also for the show money, no? Para sa visa requirement. So while we're on the subject of visa, nabanggit ko na rin siya, let's talk about it. Kung ano-ano yung mga kailangan, no? So sabi ko nga, kailangan ng show money, let's call it, sa bangko mo. So you need to provide a bank statement showing the total amount, no, na meron ka sa bangko. So general rule or rule of thumb na sinasabi is at least daw meron kang 50,000 per week of stay, no, sa Japan. So say kung 2 weeks ka, dapat meron kang at least 100,000 sa bangko mo. Parang ganon. It's a good rule of thumb para meron kang idea lang kung ano yung dapat na nakalagay sa bangko mo, di ba? So, ganun yung ginawa ko. I made sure na I had enough money, no, para makuha nga yung visa. So, I guess this is just for Japan to know na hindi ka pumupunta doon to find work kasi meron ka naman pera, 'di ba? As well as you can sustain yourselves while visiting the country. Parang ganon, 'di ba? You don't need to beg para lang kumain, 'di ba? So parang ganon yung idea nun. And the good thing about this one is unlike kung kumukuha ka ng visa sa Korea, no, para sa Korea, is kailangan lumitaw yung mga transactions mo sa bank statement mo or bank certificate. Bank certificate yata yung talagang tawag. So ayun, no. Pero para sa Japan, kailangan lang naman is yung total, 'di ba? Yung total lang naman. They don't need the details. So ayun, that's a good thing to know na parang isang trick na ginagawa is pwede ka lang humiram ng pera muna, no? So say sa mga friends mo or sa relatives mo and lagay muna sa bangko mo. Tapos yun yung ipakita mo. Diba? Life hack. And then for this visa, it's a good idea to just hire a service ng mga agency, mga travel tour agencies, no? And I think it is actually preferred ng Japan Embassy na dadaan muna sa mga ganitong entities yung requirements mo para sure na kapag binigay sa embassy is talagang kompleto na kasi meron ng middle entity na magche-check ng mga requirements mo na kompleto. So, hindi pa balik-balik. And so far yung experience ko sa mga ganitong klaseng services, maganda naman. All you need to do is to give them all the requirements, including your passport, and then pay the fee, which is not that expensive then. Say, nung kami, nasa 850 pesos lang. I think right now it's 900 na, parang tumaas na, no? But last year it's only 850. So, it's not that expensive. And to think na they'll do it for you, so pwede mo lang isipin na yun yung pamasahe mo, pagkain mo, kung ikaw yung lalakad, 'di ba, papuntang Japan Embassy. Parang ganun mo na lang siya isipin, pero at least parang hindi mo na siya kailangang asikasuhin pa. And with that, no, it's actually easier that way. At least from my experience. And I would suggest that you do that as well if you're planning to go there. So I have visited Japan twice na. no? The first one was back in 2018 and the last one was 2019, no? And both of these trips are with my binibining sinta, no? Kasama siya, kaming dalawa lagi. And for the visa, nung first one namin is single entry, no? Single entry. And then for this last trip, nakasecure na kami ng multiple entry na good for 5 years. So this one is good for 2019, 20, 2022, at least hanggang 2023, no? So more chances to go there as long as merong budget for it, diba? Pero kung akong tatanungin, parang gusto ko nga every year magpunta doon. Pero ayun nga, ubos sa lapit. So the first visit, it was a 10-day trip. And it is Osaka to Tokyo travel, no? And then merong side trip sa Kyoto ng konti. Pero yung hatian ng days na to is 6 days sa Osaka/Kyoto. Tapos 4 days kami sa Tokyo. And yung idea namin dito is to in traveling, no, from Osaka to Tokyo is nag-overnight bus travel kami. Na aalis kami ng 10 p.m. ata yun sa Osaka, and then darating kami ng around 6 a.m. kinabukasan sa Tokyo. So, ang maganda kasi dito, kaya ginawa namin yun is, pwede kasi kami mag-Shinkansen, diba? Yung bullet train. Pero, ang inisip kasi namin dito, mas ideal yun kasi nakatipid kami ng isang accommodation. One night of accommodation, diba? Parang matutulog ka sa bus, pagising mo, nasa Tokyo ka na. So, it's a good experience as well, no? Yung ganong klase. And very practical, diba? In terms sa expenses. So, yung lapag namin sa Osaka nga. So, dito, na-visit namin yung Universal Studios Japan, kung nasan yung Harry Potter. So, dito, tinikman din namin yung yung butterbeer. No, butterbeer sa Hogwarts Choo-Choo, diba? Yeah, it's a good experience. And then nagpunta din kami dun sa Osaka Castle. That one is a good experience as well. Nakapagsuot pa kami ng kimono para kay Labby-Dubs. And then sa akin is parang samurai armor, no? So it's very cool. And then pumunta din kami sa Umeda Sky Garden na merong mga doon yung parang love lock. Parang bibili ka ng padlock na may engraving ng mga pangalan nyo, tapos ilalagay mo siya. Korte sila ng puso, parang ganun. And we stayed there until gumabi para makita yung sunset sa viewing deck nila. Tapos syempre, kumain din kami sa Dotonbori, no? Dito, yung main meal na kinain namin is okonomiyaki, no? And then, syempre, kumain din kami ng mga takoyaki, kanan. So, it's a very good place to be in, lalo na kung foodie ka, na ang daming kainan, no? There are a lot of tourist traps, no? Pero, kahit na tourist traps sila, masarap pa rin. They are very popular for a reason, diba? And then, for Kyoto naman, yung side trip namin sa Kyoto is, pumunta kami sa Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, yung maraming bamboos doon, parang bamboo forest doon. Ayun, nagpunta kami doon. Tapos, ang dami rin namin kinain dito, pero yung pinaka-memorable is dango. Yung dango nila doon, sobrang epic. Parang merong siyang sesame seed powder. Sobrang sarap, grabe. And then, pumunta din kami doon sa Fushimi Inari Shrine, no? Ito, very popular to sa sa Instagram. Yeah. And then, so nagpunta din kami doon, and then we took a lot of pictures there. And it's a long walk then, going up. And then, on our way back, no, is kumain kami doon ng kushikatsu, no? Meron kaming dinayong isang restaurant na nagsisell ng kushikatsu. Tapos, kaya dinayo pa namin siya kasi meron siyang unli na for just 2,000 yen per person, unli kushikatsu na yon. So, sobrang sulit, no? Sobrang dalang lang ng mga eat all you can or unli na restaurant sa Japan. So, kapag may nahanap kayo, sulitin nyo kasi sobrang dalang lang nila. So, these are the top places that we went to, no? Sa Osaka and Kyoto. Meron pa kami mga pinuntahang iba pero kung i-discuss ko silang lahat, no? Yung mga shrine, yung mga parks, parang sobrang haba ng episode. So, babanggitin ko lang yung mga yung mga mas masaya para sa akin, no? And then for our Tokyo, no? Dito kami nag-Disneyland, no? So, ang dami ring rides or mga attractions na nagustuhan ko din sa Disneyland. And yung pinaka tumatak sa aking pagkain doon is yung turkey leg, tsaka yung sobrang mahal na popcorn, no? Parang popcorn doon 500 pesos, isang tub lang. And then pumunta din kami sa Odaiba para bisitahin yung Gundam statue, no? Me being a Gundam fan, and during this time nagbi-build pa ako ng mga Gunpla din, no? So ayun, pumunta kami ng Odaiba para doon. And then kumain din kami dito ng takoyaki kasi during this time meron takoyaki museum sa Odaiba din, no? So a day well spent sa Odaiba. Pumunta din kami ng Akihabara, no? Para tignan yung mga anime stuff, ganyan, 'di ba? Yung mga big camera. And during this trip to Aki, yon, bumili ako ng dalawang Gunpla models back then. And then syempre pumunta din kami ng Shibuya Crossing, 'di ba? For the pictures. And andun din kasi si Hachiko diba? Andun din si Hachiko. So that is very exciting for me. Yung asong nagpaiyak sa akin sa pelikula niya. So ayun, meron din akong picture kay Hachiko. And around this area, dito rin namin unang natikman yung Ichiran, no? Ichiran ramen. And for me, up to now, no? It's still the best ramen experience that I've encountered. And then the last day of our Tokyo trip is pumunta kami dun sa Tokyo Tower. Kasi andun yung One Piece Museum, no? And sobrang astig ng One Piece Museum na to for all of the One Piece fans out there. And meron kayong chance na pumunta ng Japan, specifically in Tokyo. Pumunta kayo doon kasi hindi naman siya ganun kamahal, pero yung experience na makukuha nyo, sobrang sulit talaga. Kaya nyong ubusin yung half day nyo sa One Piece Museum na to. A lot of original artwork by Eiichiro Oda, yung mangaka, and other cool stuff as well. And that rounds up my first trip sa Japan. And then as I've said, hindi naman ito lang yung mga napuntahan namin. We went to a lot of parks, shrines, and whatnot back then. Pero yeah, this might take too much time, no? In terms of minutes ng episode na to. Lalong-lalo na, we went to a lot of, say, Don Quixote, a lot of Daisos, gano'n. Para sa mga shopping, tsaka mga souvenirs, diba? Pero I'll spare you from all the details, kumbaga. And then, for our second trip, this one is a 10-day, actually 11, if we're going to be technical about it, pero a 10-day Tokyo only travel. During our first trip kasi, parang nabitin kami dun sa Tokyo days namin kasi 4 days lang kami sa Tokyo. So, we've decided na yung next time namin pumunta is mag-focus lang kami sa Tokyo, no? Para ubusin. Pero imposible maubos lahat yung mga attractions, diba? Yung mga masarap puntahan or magandang puntahan doon. And with that, yung first trip namin, diba? Pumunta kami ng Tokyo Disneyland. So, this time around, pumunta kami ng Tokyo Disney Sea. Ayun, parang nakompleto na namin yung Disney Choo-Choo ng Japan for this trip. And yung highlight ng Tokyo Disney Sea sa akin is yung yung show nila dun sa parang man-made pond nila dun or lake. Para meron silang musical show doon nun, gabi-gabi. So, sobrang okay nun. And then, nagpunta din kami sa Mori Building Digital Art Museum. Ito sobrang famous din ito sa mga social media, sa si Instagram, ganyan. And and the hype is real for this one. I really enjoyed this light museum or digital art museum, whatever. Pero yes, lalong-lalo na dun sa merong isang room doon na parang crashing waves na mukhang Hokusai Great Wave, no? Yun yung paborito kong room doon. And then for the food, pumunta kami ng Tsukiji Market. And yes, this is a food crawl yung ginawa namin dito. So, tinikman namin yung Tamagoyaki, no? Ito yung pinakamura doon na kinain na parang 100 yen lang ata to. So, 50 pesos pero sobrang laki na. Sobrang sulit, sobrang sarap. Tapos, menchikatsu. Ito rin sobrang sarap na ito. And yung nasa loob niya is actually Wagyu beef kaya sobrang sarap. Tapos, harumon and gyudon. Tapos, kumain din kami ng sobrang laking siomai. And then, matcha ice cream din. And then, ito yung mga yung mga top food na kinain namin pero we ate a lot more. No? Pero ito lang yung nag-stick sa akin talaga. And then, pumunta din kami ng Imperial Palace sa Tokyo, yung Yoyogi Park, no? And then for this Yoyogi Park, around this area, yung dito namin una natikman yung fluffy pancake. Yung sobrang fluffy na pancake talaga na yung in-order ko is savory one kasi yung sides niya is bacon, egg, and tomato sauce, and cheese ata, no? Then meron siyang salad. Yung kay Labby Dubs is medyo sweet naman kasi sa kanya yung banana chocolate, parang ganun. So sinadya namin yon, yung savory sa akin, sweet yung sa kanya, tapos hati kami para matikman namin yung both types, kumbaga. And then na-experience na rin namin yung conveyor belt sushi, no? Yung kumain kami sa Sushi Katsu Midoro, no? Na sobrang okay na experience kasi dumadating yung food mo via conveyor belt, ganun. Tapos, pwede ka rin naman umorder. Meron silang parang iPad doon, no? Or a tablet na pwede kang umorder kung hindi lumilitaw yung gusto mo sa conveyor belt. And then, nagpunta rin kami sa Pokemon Center. Ang binili ko dito doon yung mga para silang Lego pero sobrang liliit ng parts, no? Nalimutan ko yung pangalan pero bumili ako ng isang Charizard na Mega Evolution X ata, tsaka isang Pikachu, no? Dalawa yung binili ko dito sa Pokemon Center na to. And kung Pokemon fan ka, no? Pag nagpunta ka doon parang ayaw mo nang umalis kasi sobrang daming pwedeng bilhin, na? And then nagpunta din kami ng Ueno Park, no? And then pumunta din kami dun sa Nakamisi Shopping Street or tinatawag nilang Orange Street sa Asakusa yata yung mismong lugar na if you want to buy a traditional souvenir siguro na hindi muna Daiso or Don Quixote, dito magandang bumili. Medyo traditional yung mga binebentang mga souvenirs. Parang mga Daruma dolls, ganun, no? Mga charms, ganun. And then, ayun, yun yung top places na pinuntahan namin yung sa second visit namin sa Japan. And, yeah, sobrang saya ng boat trips na to kasi as a traveler, Japan is a really good place kasi its transportation system, no? Yung train system nila is sobrang world class talaga. Sobrang top of the line na sobrang convenient and sobrang practical gamitin talaga. As for the tips, ano ba yung pwede nating i-tips sa travel sa Japan? I think one good tip is always have Wi-Fi. So bakit? Kasi Google Maps is a lifesaver. Not only in Japan but other places na pupuntahan mo kasi talagang very accurate, no? Yung pagsasabi niya ng directions at the same time sa mga ganitong klaseng mga bansa, no? Na medyo touristy. As in, sa Google Maps, sasabihin na niya, nakalagay na din doon yung kung ano yung sasakyan mong tren, anong line, anong oras siya darating, ilang stations siya pang ilang station yung bababaan mo. Lahat ng yon very detailed and nakalagay na rin doon kung magkano yung ticket price. So, sobrang necessity sa akin ng Google Maps, no? Sa bawat travel, especially in Japan. And other tips pa, kung medyo hindi kayo maarte sa pagkain or medyo gipit na kayo sa budget, ang pwede nyong gawin is pumunta sa mga groceries or supermarkets, no? Na nagbebenta din ng mga hot foods, no? And then kapag gumagabi na, say around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., magbabagsakan na ng presyo para sa mga food na yon, no? So parang 50% off, 30% off, yung mga ganon na sobrang sulit, 'di ba? Tapos ang pwedeng gawin kasi na, halimbawa bumili ka ng marami, tapos kung sa Airbnb nyo or hotel is meron namang ref and microwave, that is a better deal. Pwedeng gawin nyo na yun yung dinner nyo, tapos pwede na rin kayong bumili na pang almusal kung sakali, and then yung lunch nyo yung medyo high-end ng konti kung gusto nyo ma-experience yung kung meron kayong gustong itry na food specifically. Pero kung hindi naman masyado, those are good as well. And then, okay din kainan, no? Yung mga Japanese fast food nila like Yoshinoya, Matsuya, kanon, Moss Burger, o kaya yung Gorilla Curry, no? Ito yung Gorilla Curry, favorite ko to kasi sobrang dami nung serving, tapos sobrang sulit din, sobrang sarap. So those type of food, though medyo fast food sila, Japanese fast food sila, pero yung hindi sila tulad ng McDo or Jollibee na medyo may pagka junk food. This food or this fast food chains hindi naman. Pero lang siguro sa Moss Burger. Pero yun nga, no? Parang real meal sila, yung Yoshinoya, Matsuya, or kahit ang Gorilla Curry na to. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard a lot of good things about this country, no? And that's for a reason. I mean, it's a really good place to travel to, in my opinion, and without bias, na hindi porke gustong gusto ko siya, ipagtatanggol ko na siya or something na ganun. Hindi naman. It's a really good country to visit, in my opinion. The culture is very rich, ganun. And meron silang talaga, identity talaga, no? Na they are not heavily influenced, no, by other, say, cultures. So, I appreciate that. So, yun. I would encourage everyone that can go there to go there, no? But if not, it's not the end of the world, diba? And yun, punta na tayo sa 3-in-1 questions. Una, have you visited Japan yet? Musta yung experience? Second one, kung papapiliin ka ng isa lang na pupuntahan, no? Osaka or Tokyo? And the third one, tingin mo magkano yung budget mo nagagastusin sa 1 week stay doon? Ayun, siya na nga. The coffee break is over. Catch you in the next one. Cheers!